Hurricane, severe weather, and fire updates for September 25th, 2025. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pew, and in the Atlantic, we now have Tropical Storm Humberto. And what's crazy is Humberto is actually anticipated to be a major hurricane by Monday, or a Category 3 or higher. What's most concerning though is that tropical disturbance off the coast of Puerto Rico, Invest 94L, is going to be anticipated to be making landfall around South Carolina. At least that's what the models are suggesting in this moment, but they're also suggesting that this storm is going to be a tropical storm and not anything greater. We do have a unique situation where two of these tropical disturbances are in somewhat close proximity to each other. The good news is that Humberto is going to be drifting to the east eventually and pretty much following Hurricane Aaron's path and avoiding everything. We have a couple scenarios that may happen. So for example, if Tropical Storm Humberto ends up being a major hurricane and doesn't drift to the east soon enough, it could influence 94L to the point where the shear itself will start drifting that disturbance eastward and avoiding the Carolinas altogether. Or the opposite scenario could happen where Humberto doesn't become strong enough to influence 94L and it just goes straight into the Carolinas. So definitely for the next few days, especially this weekend, we're all going to have to pay attention to these storms and how they interact with each other. Now inland, we have a couple severe weather threats. So we have two marginal risk areas, or 1 out of 5 in Arizona and also from the Southern Apps to the northeast. And what this entails is that both areas are going to see an isolated risk for damaging winds, but for Arizona specifically, we also have a 5% chance to see isolated hail. But for the northeast specifically, we have a 2% chance to see an isolated risk of tornadoes. And in addition to all of this, we have flash flooding, especially in places like Arizona where we have a slight risk. The time frames of when this is all going to occur, starting on the east side from the Southern Apps to the northeast, you guys have already been seeing showers and thunderstorms pretty much all morning and afternoon, and this is going to continue on, but we may see intensification of storms around 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. And in terms of rainfall, you guys may see an additional 1 to 2 inches. And for New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada, you guys are going to see isolated storms probably around 1 p.m. Mountain time. And you guys may see ½ an inch to an inch of rain. Now on the flip side of all this, in the Pacific Northwest and including Montana, we have a critical fire risk where we're going to see relative humidities from 10 to 15% and surface winds from 20 to 25 miles per hour and wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour. So why does this all happen? If we look at 500 millibars of midway to the troposphere, starting with the Pacific Northwest, we have a really strong jet stream. And with this jet stream, we have really strong wind speed or wind shear, and that's going to help mix the boundary layers between the surface and the mid-levels. And attached to this jet stream, we're going to have really dry air. And in addition to that, because we have the mountain ranges in this area, we're going to have downslope of winds. And when you have downslope of wind, it's going to cause more drier air and more sinking air. Going to California, we still have that low pressure that's slowly traveling southward. Now for Central California and Nevada, we have a lot of mid-level moisture, and that's going to help with those thunderstorms over there. But from the surface for Arizona and New Mexico, we have a low pressure somewhere around Las Vegas, and that's going to be pulling in a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico into these areas. And on the east side, we still have that positively tilted trough going from the Great Lakes to Texas, and with that, we have a lot of broad shear. And along with all this, at the surface, we have a really strong cold front going all the way from the south to the northeast that's going to pursue eastward.